Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You continue to have Maggie to be MC this morning. Now let's welcome our next speaker, Mr. Tom Liu, Technical Director of Global Database Solutions Asia Pacific, to present his keynote speech on the future of data management. Mr. Liu is going to share with you how SAP becomes the market leader through its state-of-the-art database innovations and enterprise applications. Mr. Liu, please.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to stand here and speak to all the SAP and Sybase customers about the future of the database from SAP's point of view. Stanley mentioned this morning that 40 years, SAP has gone through a 40-year time this year. This year is my 20th year working in the database field. But we all know in the IT industry, actually 40 years can be very, very long. Our technology tends to change generation every 5 years. So now nobody is using the language that we learned in the university. So basically nobody even know what a basic language is, what Pascal language is, right? So let's take a look at the 40-year history in SAP. In the beginning, SAP starts with ERP software, and it runs on any databases. And then it expands to more applications, for example, like CRM, SEM, and etc. And next, SAP expanded to more industries. Actually, we cover 24 industries of all these enterprise software. And we built a middle layer technology called NetWeaver, and then we built more applications covering the data quality and business analytics. And the next, by acquiring Sybase, SAP now owns databases from ASE, IQ, and with its own HANA. And on top of that, also with the acquisition of Sybase, we have the mobility software that will enable people to be able to run these applications on various mobile devices, whether it's iPhone, iOS, or Android platform. Okay? And with the acquisition of SuccessFactors, we're building cloud capability. But next layer, we're combining all these databases into what's called real-time data platform, and it will support all these applications as a unified layer. Okay? So now we see the solution changes in the past 40 years of SAP. And take a look at some of the recent acquisitions by SAP, and you can see the commitment on these technologies, and we're committed to bring in new innovation in the IT industry. Okay? SAP acquired Business Objects in 2007, Sybase in 2010, SuccessFactors in 2011, and Cyclo in 2012. So these acquisitions are all targeted in not only the business analytics, but also the infrastructure layer. Okay? So SAP now is not only the largest and most successful business application software vendor, but also is going to become the most important infrastructure database company in the world. Okay. So we all know the big data is a very big topic that every enterprise is facing the questions of how to ingest, store, process, and present all these different forms of data in the business world, as well as in the personal world. We mentioned that people are analyzing the Twitter and blog and Facebook information to be able to get more insights of the customer behavior. There is a fund company in Europe that's actually analyzing the sentiment data. People are talking about stock market on Twitter and use that as a model to gauge whether we should invest, we should be buying, or we should be selling. Okay? That's a good example of how the social media data is being used nowadays. But the game is changing. 20 years ago, when I first joined Sybase, the database world is very interesting. There are many, many companies competing on the database technology. Sybase brought up client server, and Oracle has the RDBMS, and there is also Informix and IBM and Microsoft. Okay? But in the past 10-some years, the database technology seems to be stalled and behind. Just like in the Olympics, if the players are not competing, they get booed. Okay? In the IT world, if you're not innovating, you're going to be forgotten. Okay? So look at the data we have right now. It's not some records stored on the disk and put it off shelf anymore. The data will be real time. It should be in context. It should be on demand. It should be seamless. It should be secure. And it should be efficient. Okay? What I mean by that, just having the data is not enough. Is your data is driving your business? Is your data real time? Let me give you a couple of examples of what I mean by real time. China Mobile, being the largest telco operator in the world, how many people know the customer amount? How many customers China Mobile has? Would anyone take a guess? 700 million. 700 million. 100 times of the Hong Kong total population. Okay? So that's a huge customer base. How do you, and they make calls and send short messages every day. How do you get the quality of service on your network? How do you know where your network is at the most sufficient stage and be able to meet the customer needs? Where you drop the calls the most? What's the problem? And can you get that in real time? Sybase is supporting China Mobile on a real-time basis, that they're gathering billions of records on a daily basis and be able to access those data. If a customer making a call to the help desk saying, I just dropped a call, and they will be able to dig those data out of the billions of records almost in real time and tell the customer what just happened. Okay? So is your business real time? Can you analyze the user behavior either online or offline and be able to come up with the best promotion to the relevant customer? Okay? Let's say this is JW Marriott. There is a promotion at this region, and if you get a message right now on your mobile phone saying some of the shops are having buy one, get one free promotion, and you happen to be their frequent visitor, will you be visiting that? What if you get that short message a day from now? You get it tomorrow. Will you come back to this complex and buy that shirt or buy that ice cream? Most likely will not, right? So this is what the real-time business means to you. And also, let's take a look at what's happening on the technology front. I'm quoting here the Turing Award winner of 1998, Jim Gray. He's saying, tape is dead, disk is tape, main memory is disk, and CPU cache is main memory. What does this all mean? This means what we use to store data is seeing a new generation. We're pushing the whole storage layer one generation ahead. Don't think about tapes. It's obsolete. And don't even think about disks as your main storage on databases. Main memory is becoming the mainstream. And who is pushing that trend is SAP. Okay? And why we're saying that main memory is becoming the mainstream. Take a look at 20 years ago and now. The cost of storage between, let's say, two different types of storage mechanism. One is disk, one is memory. They were both very expensive 20 years ago. And take a look at the cost now. It's very acceptable on the cost of memory nowadays. But also look at the speed of the access speed. We're seeing almost 1 million times difference on the access speed. If you look at this, memory is becoming cheaper, a lot cheaper, very affordable, yet the performance is huge difference than the main storage layer that we're using, disks. But if you look at the database technology, in the past 40 years, all the database in the world are pretty much built on an assumption that we should store the data on a device called disk and then pull some of the data into memory when we need them and either do query or do analytics or do transaction. So the main storage is always disk. So in every database nowadays, you have some optimizing algorithm in their software saying, I need to evaluate whether this data should be kept in memory or not. Okay? So that's the main methodology that has been adopted for about 40 years. Now, everything is changing. Okay? The database world is changing, is being segmented. It's never a one-size-fits-all world anymore. Okay? What we're seeing in the database world now is you got role-based database, which has been developing for 40 years. We could see that as a pretty mature technology. But on the other hand, we see columnar database, which is leading the analytic world and is represented by Sybase IQ as the leading columnar database technology. And also in-memory database, a lot of companies has their version of in-memory database providing the OLTP, faster OLTP capability. And also the embedded database, which can run on your iPhone, on your iPad, on your mobile devices. Okay? That can provide the mobile application database. And also streaming processing. Streaming processing is something quite new, but it has provided a lot of the real application value to the industry, such as financial services. For example, in Wall Street, a lot of the algorithmic trading or quantitative trading applications are built on streaming processing. It's not storing the data per se, but it's processing on the fly. While the stock prices are changing in a very complex format, we're making a decision based on the real-time data. Okay? But we don't concentrate on how to store the data and then use it. We process the data on the fly. Okay? So we're seeing all these different types of technology being involved in the database field. And in that, SAP brings up what's called SAP Real-Time Data Platform. And the goal is to facing the data fronts that we're seeing, whether it's big data, whether it's analytics, cloud computing, mobile devices, or social media. We will be able to transact, move, store, process, and analyze all these shapes of data, all in this one real-time data platform. Okay? And the question is, how can you do that? Is SAP, who is a company that has been concentrating on applications, the right company to provide this kind of platform to us? The answer is yes. Look at the database assets SAP has. By the acquisition of Sybase, along with the SAP's own innovation on HANA, we have the best transactional database with the best TCO, which is Sybase ASE. We have the best analytic database with the best TCO on the columnar technology, which is SAP Sybase IQ. We have the market-leading mobile database, embedded database in the world. It occupies more than 70% of the market. This is called Sybase SQL Anywhere. And also, with the CEP software, which is Sybase ESP, what I just mentioned, the streaming processing, okay, streaming data processing. And also the data replication software, the replication server, and also SAP EIM software. This is the best unified data platform for moving the data, analyzing the data, and also making sure the data quality, okay? And the core of this whole real-time data platform is, of course, SAP HANA. This is really, truly the cutting-edge technology that you're not going to see every year, okay? In my 20-year history of working, this is probably the second time that I'm seeing in the database field, I see something very, very exciting, okay? Last time, I jumped the wagon from row-based database to column database, which is about 10 years ago. And now, I'm so convinced that SAP HANA, with the whole trend of in-memory computing and in-memory analytics, is going to set the foot for the enterprise application and enterprise databases in the next few years. Okay. So, if you see all these assets, what we're going to do? SAP has not only a vision, but also has a very concrete plan. We take 3 steps to the future of our database platform. The first step is we're going to integrate the existing Sybase database assets as well as SAP's HANA. Okay? We're going to make sure the application is transparent on OLTP and analytics. And we're going to move the tiered data for analytics. So make sure that you have more capability to analyze on larger amount of data. For example, the China Mobile case that I just mentioned, their data is easily terabytes, if not talking about petabytes on a national level. Okay? We're making sure that they can run well. The different database assets will be integrated well. And the next step is optimize. After we integrate all these technologies, we're going to optimize all of them to make sure that they can handle even more extreme data, okay? Whether it's on the OLTP side and also on the OLAP side. For example, one of the largest banks in China, Agricultural Bank of China, they're running their open system databases on SAP's database technology, on our ASE. They're clocking 20+ million transactions per day on Sybase technology. And they're not satisfied. They're asking us to the next level. They're saying in a couple of years, they're seeing 30 million, even 40 million transactions per day. And we're confident that we will be able to support that. And this is the base for us to optimize the real-time data platform. And also, we're going to expand to big data. We know a lot of data nowadays under the umbrella of big data are actually stored outside of the RDBMS. Why? In my opinion, is exactly the example of how the database technology by so-called the leading vendors in this market has been lagging the innovation. Okay? We're seeing a lot of data will have to be put on what's called Hadoop or MapReduce or other open source software. Why? Because we're not seeing the capability of the leading database vendors providing this capability. But SAP is determined that we are going to expand our reach to big data in the next stage. And the final stage is what we call synthesize. We're going to glue every technology of the SAP database assets together into a real platform. And at that time, all these OLTP and OLAP will be integrated. And it will not only provide the database platform to SAP software, but it will be able to provide the real-time capability to non-SAP or customized software. Okay? So this is what the next generation of SAP real-time data platform, the whole architecture, looks like. If you look at this, the HANA platform is going to be the core of this real-time data platform, along with the 4 pillars that I just mentioned: the Sybase ASE, IQ, SQL Anywhere, and Sybase ESP. Okay? On the bottom, you got Sybase Replication Server, SAP's data services, master data management, and to provide all these data moving capability. Okay? On top of that, with the NetWeaver cloud layer, we're providing the data services to all these, either the business suites, SAP software, and customized applications. Okay? So this is the innovation that SAP is providing to our enterprise users on the infrastructure, which is an important piece of the whole IT world. Even though a lot of time that the database layer is behind the application, a lot of users don't see it. They only see is when it doesn't perform. All right? And it will always be complained about when there is some performance problem. There's never a complaint about the front-end GUI is not performing. It's always, when I click the button, where's the data? Why is it taking so long? Must be the database. Okay? So we're going to make sure that this real-time data platform is going to be performant on all sorts of applications. So the HANA performance is outstanding. As I said, is one of the truly innovative technology that you're not going to see very often. Not only we're seeing it expands to terabytes, if not hundreds of terabytes. Last week in Sapphire Beijing, Mr. Vishal has already told people that in our lab, we have already built a reference architecture that can expand HANA platform to 500 terabytes of data. So this is probably larger than any data warehouse available in the world. And remember, that's under a compression ratio of about 5:1. So literally, that 500 terabytes of data converts to the traditional database, it would be easily 2.5 petabytes, all in one platform. And you can run real-time analytics on that much of data. Okay? Not only we can handle that much data, but also it changes the paradigm of what's called data warehousing. In the traditional data warehousing world, we all need to do ETL process optimization. We all need to do the so-called data modeling, has to be the right model, and has to have professional DBA to help us train the database how to know our queries, right? Which is called optimization and indexes tuning. With HANA, you don't need anything. Put the model there, load the data. You don't need to tune the data. You don't need special indexes. You don't need what's called materialized view, okay? You just run the query. Remember the access speed we're seeing, the difference between the memory and disk, 1 million time difference. That can explain the power of HANA. This is not talking about 2 cars racing on a track. This is one is car running on the road, the other one is airplane taking off. So don't tell me how is your speed measured by how many times your tire can roll. I don't have a tire. My tire is only used to taking off, right? Other than that, after that, I'm on the plane, okay? So this is the business, this is the whole technology innovation that is contributing to our business as well. You can save a lot of the time that you used to spend on all these things, okay? I'm going to give you guys an example in the real life. Nongfu Spring is one of the largest, actually it is the largest water bottling company in China. And they encounter some business challenges in their business operation. Okay, the reports are taking really long to run on the traditional databases. And we contact them about the HANA technology, and they immediately liked it. After a few steps of testing, they're seeing some of the reports used to take 24 hours on the traditional database. Now it's taking 37 seconds. What does it translate into the business value is they will be able to know the logistics and all the hubs, how many inventory they have on each hub. And by being able to optimize their inventory and their freights better, they're able to save billions of RMB every year. Okay? So this is the innovating technology that is providing the real business value to the customer. So all in that, SAP is promising that we're driving the innovation in the database world. We're changing the game by providing the most cutting-edge technology, let it be in-memory computing, columnar database, real-time analytics, streaming data analytics, and also mobile database, okay? And not only we're providing the database technology to our own applications, but also we're also providing the technology to all the custom-based database. So you can build your application based on open architecture, okay? And we're continuing to drive the open and optimized database management portfolio. SAP is the only company that has the fullest database technology. All 5 databases covering different types of applications. And we're going to continue to innovate. So this is the promise that SAP is bringing to the market. And we're seeing this is a game changer. In about 2 or 3 years, if you look back at 2012, you're going to realize that this is a changing moment of the database market. We are targeting to become the fastest growing database company in the world. And as a matter of fact, by Q2 of 2012, we have achieved that. Okay? In past month, IDC published a report talking about the database company's growth in the past year. And the overall database market is growing at 17 to 18%. And pretty much every company is around that ballpark number. And SAP has grown by an astonishing 48%. Okay, so this is the ambition and this is the goal that we're setting, and we're continuing to innovate on that. And hope all these technology advancements will provide huge value to your business and your customers. Thank you very much.